Welcome, Roger Pascal, Real Impact Training here. All right, real estate training to the best. Excited to have everybody on board tonight. Excited about what's going on. We're seeing just some incredible things happening in the real estate industry and with our partners and everybody that we're working with. So excited. Who we are. Real Impact is your local real estate training. We have multiple locations. We have our impact owners. They own those local locations. They are working investors. They're experts in their area. They're experts in that territory, in that area they're in. So you're working with people as our impact coaches. They own their own business. They are actively doing real estate locally. They know the local players. They know the local market. They know who to go to for title companies, to go to for weird off the wall stuff and for repairs. So that's who we are. We're Real Impact Training. Our training is based on the Dennis Henson training systems. We train a system. We train you how to build your business, how to build your business plan, how to build your network of people that you're associated with. And we do that better than anybody else. So I'm excited to have everybody on here. So we're going to change our format up a little bit this week. We're working to get this working so we can get you better and easier to digest information. We're asking you to put your questions into the chat area. If you're in YouTube and your chat area, you can't find it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and a chat box will come up. So subscribe to it. If you don't have that chat box up there, then you need to subscribe to our channel. That should come up and we'll get you rolling on that. So we have with Impact, we have local investment meetings for you to network with local investors. These are the people that are doing the deals. These are the people that are financing the deals. These are the people that are helping you with every aspect of your real estate investing. We do not leave anything untouched. We have everything out there. So this week, I wanted to start out with a little joke. I love jokes. I love corny jokes. So a manager of this corporation, he notices a new employee. And he asks the employee, he says, "Hey, come on in here. I need to talk to you." So first thing he said is, "What is your name?" And the new guy says, "John. My name is John." The manager scowled. He looked down and he says, "I don't know what kind of namby-pansy organization that you have worked in the past, but I don't call anybody by their first name. It breeds familiarity and it leads to a breakdown, a total breakdown in authority. I refer to my employees by their last name only: Smith, Jones, Baker. That's all. I am to be referred only as Mr. Robinson. Now that we have that straight, what is your name?" The new guy sighed. He says, "Darling. My name is John Darling." Okay, the manager replied, "Okay, John, the next thing I want to tell you is," there's my corny joke. So there you go. So we've all worked with those guys before, and we're like, yeah, what can we do to get back at them? I'll say, all right, so good deal. Thank you for being on here tonight. We're excited you're here. I would like to bring Tony Jardou. Tony is one of our business owners, one of our leaders, one of our owners. He works Arlington, Waco. Tony has the best tip of the week that anybody has. So Tony, wow me with your tip of the week.
Yeah. Hey, Roger. Nice to see you again. And I appreciate that, those kind words. So this week, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's been for quite a long time, even when I was not in real estate and I was out in the work world. I was in the work world for 38 years in banking, and I always approached it with this concept in mind, and I raised my children this way as well. And that is, if excellence is an option, why choose anything else? Choosing excellence, well, it's easy to say, but I realize it's much more difficult to always put into action. But why would you choose anything else? Well, there is a simple answer to that, because it's easier. Being excellent takes hard work, determination, persistence, getting in the trenches. Sometimes it even takes a monetary investment. Striving for excellence takes more than just having it as your personal or your company's philosophy, a core value or part of your company's pitch. So you've decided you want to be a real estate investor. Well, are you doing, or will you do, all you can to prepare yourself to be an excellent real estate investor? Mindset and preparation are two of the main keys to being excellent. At Real Impact, we emphasize the importance of getting your mind right and seeking wisdom to help you start your journey as a real estate investor. To achieve excellence as a real estate investor, it is critical to have the clarity of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Preparation involves having the specialized knowledge and wisdom about real estate investing that will clearly put you on the path towards success and excellence. In fact, preparation and obtaining the necessary knowledge is great advice when seeking excellence, no matter what endeavor you embark on. As a real estate investor, there will be times when you must act immediately without an opportunity to prepare. However, most often in real estate investing, you will be afforded sufficient time to prepare. For example, if you're going to see a property, have you prepared in advance to provide an offer to the seller when you see the property? What's that preparation look like? Well, have you done sufficient analysis in advance to know the value of that property if it was all fixed up? Have you analyzed the possible exit strategies if you do acquire the property? See, preparation is important for any venture we want to move forward with. And as the old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is also true as a real estate investor. Have you set yourself up for success as a real estate investor? If you're going to roll out a new marketing campaign, have you sufficiently thought about the factors that are important to a successful campaign? Do you have the right people to help you carry out that campaign? What is your target market? And what is the expected response to that campaign? Do you have sufficient data to determine the number of responses it'll take for you to get a deal? Those are all factors that can help you determine how much to invest in a specific marketing campaign. You certainly have choices as a real estate investor. Look, you can wing it on your own, and you might achieve a level of success. However, how much faster can you get to big success and excellence if you invest in a mentorship where you not only learn quicker, you are held accountable? You see, my wife Cindy and I, well, we can tell you with absolute clarity, if you jump into a mentorship, we have proved this, that it'll advance your career a lot quicker than when you do it on your own. Our first 2 years as real estate investors, we invested in ourselves by investing in mentorships. The return on those investments was incredible and quick. We put into action what we were learning because we were after excellence. What if you're not a new investor, but someone who's looking to expand your business and your team? If you bring a new team member on, do you check in on them periodically to see how they're doing, or ask if there's anything that you can do to help them? If you want them to be excellent performers for you, the answer is obvious. Of course you do that. You check on them. In fact, you will be checking in quite frequently. To have an excellent performing business and team, you must lead by example and guide them toward excellence. And as a real estate investor, you are building a brand, and that brand is you. When someone thinks of you or says your name, what do you want them to think of? Do others think of you as a person who doesn't return calls or a person who's always showing up late? Do they think of you as having integrity? If you want to achieve excellence, consider how you dress, how you speak, how you act. All of those contribute to your personal attributes and how you are perceived. What do you want your personal brand to look like? Why not have a personal brand that exemplifies excellence? Going after being excellent will lead to great success because it forces you to do the things necessary to win big. And Roger, that's my tip of the week.
All right. What, always, as you said, the excellence. So that's an excellent suggestion. It's an excellent tip. Great to see that. Thank you so much for putting that on. Now, tonight's topic, I meant to mention that beforehand, really bleeds right in to where Tony was talking about his tip. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight about lead generation. We're going to talk about what we've done. This is a crazy market. We're having a tough time sometimes finding properties. So we would, we're going to talk about that. Put your questions in the chat box. We'll address them. We're here to answer your questions. So we're going to start bringing everybody on board and bringing our impact master coaches, master trainers. So excited to have that. Y'all met Tony. Tony had a phenomenal tip of the week, as he always does. And we're going to, so I'm going to bring everybody on one by one. We're all going to be on the screen. Karen Maxwell. Karen is our corporate sales. So if anybody's interested in looking at being a trainer or opening or owning a location, then you'll reach out to Karen. So we'll have all those links at the end of this. Our next impact master trainer, drum roll, Tim Lockhart, Wichita Falls, Texas. Welcome on board, Tim. Good to have you. All right. And our next is going to be Eric Short. Eric Short's our newest guy on the block. He's going to be opening up the Grand Prairie, South Dallas, Grand Prairie area. So we're excited to have Eric on board. Our next is Doug and Renee Toon, and they are in Longview. I'm sorry, I'm watching some things happening here and on the back side of the screen here. So Doug and Renee, welcome on board, and Pam Clary. Pam Clary is our Decatur Alliance owner of that business. And then our patriarch, I'm sorry, I keep saying that wrong. Dennis Henson has corrected me before and says, oh, by the way, you need to say this. So Dennis, welcome on board.
Thank you.
We've got some changes on tonight. So Dennis, I really haven't gone over all the changes with you, but bear with us. It's going to be a little different tonight. So we've got a question and answer session. So Karen, I'm going to ask you to start taking this on, but tonight we're talking about lead generation. You got any questions, put them in there, but particularly if you got questions about lead generation, that's what we have on there. So Karen, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, our first question is, what are the most effective ways to find leads if I don't have much money for marketing? And I would ask somebody else to answer this, but I want to jump in here and answer this. So I would put out signs. And I would tell everyone that I know that I am a real estate investor and I'm looking to buy properties. Your friends, your family, post it on Facebook. Just a simple sign that says, I buy houses for cash, and your phone number. And then make sure you answer the phone. It's really funny because I actually just worked on a PowerPoint today that worked on exactly that. So that was kind of my thought on that. But how about if we let's get Pam. Pam, what would you do if you didn't have much money for marketing, or how did you get started? How about that?
Well, one of the things that I do and I tell my students is you need to know 25 people and you need to contact those 25 people and let them know what you do. And that is, pick up the phone. I mean, if you are in a workforce, then there are people around you. I just had one of my students, he didn't actually do what I told him to do, and he just lost a great big deal because of a divorce situation. But it's not the easiest, but the thing is, you've got to let the world know. They need to know that you are an investor and that you buy and sell properties. And write down 25 people, get their name, their phone number, their email address, and it's real short and simple. Hey, my name is Pam Clary. I want to let you know that I am going into the real estate business, and do you have any houses to buy or sell? 1, 2, 3, easy.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Tony?
Yeah. So, Pam, I would say you didn't have to back away from saying that's the easiest. It certainly may not, depending on who you are, it may not be the easiest, but it's certainly one of the easier ways. And that is just to get your word out. Because the reality of this situation is your net worth is dependent upon your network in the real estate investing business. And the more people that are aware of what you're doing, the better your chances are that somebody will tell somebody about you, and that can lead to deals. And I think a lot of us can prove that with some of the transactions that we've had. I know that for my wife, Cindy, and I, we went to Waco in September of 2018. We didn't know a soul. Seriously, we didn't know anyone. And we started looking at property by calling realtors, and we told them what we do. We ended up buying 2 properties on 2 of the first deals that we put contracts on. And because we didn't know anybody, both these properties needed a lot of work. I started calling around to contractors and in Waco, and I was getting 3 bids for everything that we needed to do. And when I started getting these bids, I started telling these people, we're here in Waco, we're buying property. From October 11th, 2018 through the end of 2019, we spent $1,500 on marketing, $1,000 to pay one realtor to find us a deal, $500 to pay a bird dog, somebody we just told, and they brought us a deal. We bought 30 properties in that time period. Everything came from, outside of those 2 deals, everything came from word of mouth. The referral business is huge. Start letting people know what you do. You don't have money, start letting them know.
I made $30,000 on my very first deal in the first year in doing business by letting people know that what I did. I was an ex-teacher and coach. One of the ladies I coached with told her sister, hey, Pam can help you get out of your trouble. Did it. And, but it's because you let people know. And I think that's one thing that people are afraid of, or they don't know, you have to let the world know what you do.
I would like to add, in addition to letting people know what you do, there are other things that you can do when you don't have much money. You drive around. If you have a car, and most people have a car, you're driving around, and whenever you see a property that looks like it has a lack of pride of ownership, or it's vacant, or it has a for sale by owner sign on it, write down that address. Now, if it has a for sale by owner sign, that's somebody that wants to sell their property. Call them. We've pulled over numerous times. We've pulled over and called that number right then and there. We actually bought a property just like that. We pulled over. We called the number. The guy said, when would you like to come and look at it? We said, how about now? Because we're parked in front of your house. We went inside. That day, we gave them an offer. And the next day, we had it under contract. This stuff happens. Driving for dollars is what it's called when you drive around and you're looking for property. We just did this yesterday. We took about an hour out. We went into a part of Fort Worth we haven't been to before. And we got 33 addresses. And those folks are going to receive a letter from us. And that letter is going to be very simple. We're going to tell them we'd like to buy their property. We have no idea if they want to sell or not. But that's how you start this. You drive around, you look for properties. And if you have just a couple of bucks to afford a stamp and some paper, you can write them a letter and tell them you'd like to buy their property. That's called driving for dollars.
That's right. That's right. I remember writing many yellow letters, just sitting down after dinner and had my addresses together. And I just sat down and wrote yellow letters. And if I didn't have addresses, I wrote yellow letters anyway. And then the next day, whenever I found a house, I made it a rule of always driving a different way to wherever I was going. We get so caught up in, I'm going to go here and this is the way I'm going to go. But I made it a habit, and I still do this today. Drive different directions every time I go. I go down different roads. I go down side roads. And if I see a vacant house, my kids will be like, oh gosh, if mama says, oh, is that a vacant house? Let me back up a minute. But yes, my first, actually, I think the second subject to was a property that it was a coworker of mine. And she mentioned to me one day, she's like, are you still doing that real estate thing? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, maybe y'all should come take a look at my house. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, well, I've moved out of it, moved in with my mom to help and take care of her. And the water had a leak, so I cut it off. The gas had a leak, so I cut it off. I haven't lived there for 7 years.
Whoa.
And it was the cutest little house. And I think we got it for like $65. We lived there while we renovated it. Refinished hardwood floors, granite, tile, everything very, very nice. And I think now it's probably worth about $175. So, that's huge. But taking it over subject 2 was just, the icing on the cake, if you will. But yeah, just by telling people what we do, that's how I got that deal. So.
And here's something else. When you tell somebody, what we've done quite often is we don't just tell them that we're buying. We tell them if they find something for us and we buy it, we'll pay them $500. We've done that numerous times. And that's what is called having a bird dog.
Bird dogging, yeah.
You may not have the time. Maybe you're working and you work a 9 to 5 or you work crazy hours and you just dog tired and you can't get out there. But you know people. And maybe those people have some time. And those can be anybody. Could be a person who delivers your mail. Could be a police officer. Could be anybody. But you tell people what you're doing, and you tell them if they find a property, and you give them the criteria that you're looking for, and if they happen to find one of those, and they bring it to you, and you buy it, then you pay them $500. Well, you don't have any money, right? Well, if you're about to make $10,000,
make money.
You can find $500 to pay somebody, or you pay them when you buy it, and then sell it.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can scrounge up the money when you're about to make a whole bunch of money.
Anybody else have anything else? I'm sorry, is it my computer or is it Tony's?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you had stopped, but it was just that your computer went fast. So we do have another question. Is anybody have anything else to add to that, or do you want to move to the next question?
Well, I've got something out there as y'all touched on it, but it's the people that you know, and they need to understand that you are a real estate investor and you solve problems, and you go out there and you talk to everybody you know. You're not throwing up real estate all over them. That's not the purpose. You don't want to get to the point they look at you, oh my gosh, here that guy comes. We don't want to be anywhere around him. But let people know. And they will consistently, we get calls all the time. You still doing that real estate thing? And I've got a friend. I have a relative. I have a neighbor. And, I own houses across the street from each other because one neighbor talks to another neighbor. And they're just looking for a solution to their problem. That thing's a big problem on their back, and they just need to get rid of that property. So everybody knows people. So there you go. Doug and Renee, y'all had y'all did an Apple technique, and you got a subject to that way. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, that was not how we got the subject to, but it seems like every time we go out and do the Apple technique, we find something. And a lot of times we'll do it with our students, and we'll go out and almost every time we find something that they can dig their teeth into. So when we did
wait,
this,
what's the Apple technique?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Oh, Renee.
So the Apple technique is basically where you find a street in an area that you're interested in. You bring an apple, a bottle of water. You head down one side of the street, knocking on doors, trying to find out if you basically ask, I heard there was somebody on this street that was wanting to sell their house, but I don't remember which address it is. Is that you, or do you know who that could be? And that just kind of gets the conversation flowing. And sometimes people volunteer themselves or say, no, my neighbor 2 houses down is wanting to sell. And anyway, you go all the way down the street and
Stop and
eat your apple, drink your water bottle, and head back down the other side of the street until you're done. And that's the apple technique.
It's pretty easy, but it works every time.
It does. You can find out all kinds of good information. Sometimes you might come across someone who's renting and they volunteer that information, or you ask them, do you own this house? And if they say, no, I rent, then you can find out, well, do you mind if I ask you what you're renting this place for? How long have you been renting? And it can give you a good idea of, what's realistic in that particular area. So it's a great way to just get some really good information about a particular area.
Thank you.
All right, Karen, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to move along to the next question. And the next question is, let's see. I'm going to ask Tony this question because I know that we've discussed this. What's the best way to budget money to market for leads? So now we're talking about, we're going to start spending some money. So what's the best way to budget for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So let me first answer that by saying, when you budget for lead generation, it's not just about money. It's also about your time, especially for folks who are working, because you're only going to have a limited number of hours in the week. And so you have to take advantage of the time that you are going to allocate. And so you need to budget that time so it's most effectively spent where it needs to be. And I'll also mention this, that when you are a real estate investor, 80% of your time, could be 75 to 85% of your time, is marketing to try to find deals. And so when you do have a few dollars to set aside for marketing, what I recommend is you make a list of the different marketing strategies. And some of them involve direct mail. And there are a lot of different lead lists that you could get with direct mail. When you do get a list, what are you going to do with that list? And some of the things that folks do with those lists is they'll send letters out. A lot of times we call those yellow letters because they're written on yellow paper. They may send postcards out. We've done all of that. We've sent thousands and thousands and thousands of yellow letters out, and it's been very, very successful for us. You target lead types. So there's a variety of lead types that you can get. For instance, you can get a probate list. You can get a divorce list, a bankruptcy list, a foreclosure list, a substitute trustee list. You can get a non-owner occupied list. And that's a list that we focused on extensively the first 2 years that we started investing. And it was very, very successful for us. So you allocate X amount of money per week or per month to the different type of strategy that you're going to incorporate as a marketing campaign. And factor in cost of paper, if you're going to do yellow letters, the cost of the envelope, if you're going to do it yourself. Karen said she wrote a lot of letters. We hire out people to write our letters. We don't outsource the whole thing. We provide the lead list. We provide the list of names and properties, and we use primarily stay-at-home moms to write our letters, and we pay them to do that. So we're blessing them with a few dollars. That means a lot to them, and we're getting accomplished what we need to have accomplished. And all our letters are written by hand. So that's worked out extremely well. We allocate a certain dollar amount per week as part of our monthly budget, and it goes toward yellow letters. Now, that's just one way to do it. There are other ways to go after lead generation. where you can actually spend money. And by the way, here, I meant to mention this about not having any money. You can always buy properties from wholesalers. Get on buyers list. I am flooded with leads daily from wholesalers. Doesn't cost you any money.
Very good.
For marketing for that, yes. For finding motivated sellers. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have another question. How did you find the right neighborhood? I'm thinking that might be toward the Apple technique. Is that what we're talking about there, maybe? Or I guess for anybody, how do you define what neighborhood you want to buy in? Let's start with Tim. How about you, Tim? How do you decide which neighborhood you're going to invest in?
Well, when I'm talking to my students about choosing a farm area, there's a couple things that I stress to them. One is to think about if they're going to be buying and holding property, especially if they're going to be a landlord renting out and they're going to be managing their own property, who do you want to be in business with? So because this tenant is going to be paying you rent, and think of them like your business partner. So do you like working with young families just getting started? Do you like working with blue collar middle class families? Do you want to get that low income property and maybe not in the best parts of town, but has really good cash flow? And so think of it like, who is the client that you're looking to attract? And then look at what do they want, and don't necessarily buy what you want as an investor, but first decide who is that client that you want to work with, and then what do they want. And that's a really good way to find the neighborhood. And then when you do find a property in that neighborhood, then you're going to be finding a property that the target client that you want to work with is going to also want to live in. So, and what that ends up being a lot of times is close to the median price. And so if the median price range is 175,000, then finding properties around 120 to 200,000 would be a really good target market if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tim. I think Doug had his hand up that he was going to try to chime in on that answer as well.
Yeah, so we figure that Walmart is a pretty smart company, and they've already done the demographics. They're going to put their store where there's the most people, and we'll usually just draw a 5-mile circle around Walmart and go from there. So that's pretty simple.
Very good.
That's a great idea. That's a wonderful idea. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
But
No?
I'll go in and let you know that
Go ahead, Tony.
because we sent so many we set up so many marketing campaigns. We had to have a strategy, and our strategy was, what are the areas that would make a good rental market? And then we chose them by zip code, and we did that in Tarrant County. We've done it down in Waco. We looked at those price ranges, kind of like what Tim was just talking about. We looked at talking about price ranges, and that's what we did. Where would we get the most bang for the buck if we were going to hang on to that property as a rental? And so for us, the sweet spot became properties that could be worth $80,000 to upwards of $150,000 in Tarrant County. And so we would just flood those zip code areas with direct mail pieces, and specifically to non-owner occupied properties. So what that means is basically a landlord, someone who doesn't live in the property. And those are lists that you can buy from different list companies. There are a lot of different list companies. You can just Google that. And so that became our go-to in Tarrant County, and that worked out extremely well.
Awesome. Speaking of, that's our next question. Is where does the question go? Okay, hang on. It's right over here. Where's a good website that I can go to get a list of foreclosures? Anybody have the best answer for that? Pam? Oh, you're on mute, hon.
Sorry. One of the websites that you can go to out there is called the Roddy Foreclosure List. They do all 254 counties in the area. As long as, and I've heard people say, but they really don't. Well, yes, they do. I live in Wise County, and I just looked up a Wise County for next month. They have 2 foreclosures for next month if they go to the foreclosure. But they definitely hit all your major counties. What's Houston, Harris County? I know they do the foreclosure list for Denton, Collin, Tarrant, Dallas. Johnson County. So it's called the Roddy Foreclosure List. They also provide a bankruptcy list. So on theirs, what they provide that's interesting is you get the foreclosure list, and then you can pay a little bit extra money. And what did not make the foreclosure on that Tuesday, they have what they call the knockoff list that you can buy so that you can set up to send out, letters to.
Okay, great. Tony?
So the question was asking about a website, but for Roddy, Pam, you're more familiar with Roddy's foreclosure listing service. They have a fee to get their list, don't they?
Yes, it is a fee. They pay of course, the more you buy, they charge by the county, and it's anywhere from $54 to $66 a month. But it's the number 4 foreclosure. I'll try to put it in the chat. Foreclosure listing, but you can Google Roddy foreclosure.
Okay. And I'm not familiar with any free sources for foreclosure unless you have a friend who is a realtor perhaps and has access to that stuff. You can go to the courthouse yourself and pull that data, but most of the opportunities for getting foreclosure lists there'll be a small investment. So for instance, we use a company called Real Estate IQ. Real Estate IQ has different programs depending upon the counties that you are looking at. So for instance, in Dallas-Fort Worth, their program is $98 a month, and you can get, in Dallas County, for instance, you can get 10 different lead lists. They send them to you daily, Monday through Friday. So they're updating constantly by getting the information from the courthouses. So it's a foreclosure list, it's a divorce list, and it goes on up through 10 different lead lists. They even have a loan modification and an eviction list. So you pay for that though. And most of the services that are available for foreclosures, you're going to have a few bucks in the game to pay for that list. Another way to do it though, share it. Share it with somebody. Share the cost. Breaks down what you have to come out of pocket for. And there's plenty of data in these lists. So you can easily split the list, but you can also split the cost.
So where would you find someone to share these lists with you?
What a good question, Dennis Henson. You might actually find them at a place like Impact Arlington or Impact Waco or Impact Longview or Impact Grand Prairie or Wichita Falls or Decatur Alliance, because these are real estate investment group meetings, which is, if you're on this call, you need to start attending some real estate investment group meetings in the Impact system, because we have great networking opportunities, plenty of time to meet other people who are trying to do what you're doing. And it's a great opportunity to get the word out as to what you're doing.
And if there's not a meeting in your area, reach out to me and I'll find someone to make a meeting in your area. Okay, let's see. We have another question is, where do you find a bird dog? So how about, let's see, Dennis, where'd you find your bird dogs?
Well, I have a different kind of bird dog. Generally people think of bird dogs as someone that they are going to pay them some money. And you need to be careful about that, paying them money, because there are laws in certain states that limit the amount that you're allowed to pay. There's not a bird dog police, but you do want to kind of try to follow the law. But I was out one day and it was hot, and I was driving down a Texas road, must have been 100 degrees. And there were people over on the side of the road picking up aluminum cans. And I thought, I wonder how much one aluminum can is worth. So I did some research, and it took 3 aluminum cans to earn a penny. So they're out in the 100-degree weather picking up cans. So I thought, I wonder what they would do for $1. So I thought, I'll make them a bird dog. And I decided that I would try to find some people that would go out and find empty houses. That's all they had to do, was just find an empty house. If they brought me the address of the empty house and it was really empty, if they brought me 5, I gave them $5. I wouldn't give them a 1 or a 2. They had to bring me 5 to make it worth my while. If they brought me 10, I give them $10. If they brought me 20, I'd get whatever the size of the bill. You know, most of the people, when they left, they were going to come back with 50. And I always kind of warned them. I said, now look, if you bring me 10 houses, I'm going to go look at 3 of them. And if they're not empty, I'm not paying you. And I'm going to keep the list. So that kept them honest. But it didn't take me long to figure out that there's a lot of people that are going in these communities. People who deliver papers. There used to be meter readers. They've changed that out. But mailmen, mailwomen, they're in the communities. There are people that know what houses are empty already. It doesn't really take very long to put together a group of people who are bringing you lists of empty homes, and then you just put those in your system. You know, whatever you're going to do, send them a yellow letter, send them a postcard, Google, try to find their name, skip trace, whatever. And that's one good source of having bird dogs bringing you deals. That's a different kind of bird dog, but I'm sure one of the other IMTs would be happy to tell you about how they do their bird dogs.
Well, yeah, I can answer that. I did a Facebook post one day, very much like Tony was saying, stay-at-home moms. I posted on Facebook one day that I was looking for people to go out and find me empty houses and send me addresses. And I had it hooked up to my CRM, so when they submitted an address with their name and phone number, I knew who submitted the information. And that way I didn't have to worry about going into my email or checking a text message and then putting it into my system. I just automated that with a web form. Super, super simple. So that's the way I did that. And then, of course, just talking to, like, especially like our contractors, we would talk to them because sometimes they were working at other locations and they would see an empty house. Then they would call us and say, hey, there's the empty house across the street from this house we're doing a tile job at. Thought you might want to check it out. And then I would just send them that form and have them fill it out. It's super simple. Anybody else have anything about that? Like, how did you, what's your niche? Oh, also college students. College students are going to the gym, they're going to school, and they have a lot of free time. Even high school students, same kind of thing. They have more free time, and they don't work like we did. I don't work. But anyway, so I do utilize those also for writing my yellow letters, high schoolers, college students. So anybody else have anything to add to that? About where you might find a bird dog, Pam?
So I use you touched this, but I was going to go into a little bit more detail about it. My bird dogs are my vendors. I have three HVAC guys. The deal that we're doing in Justin came from my HVAC. We had our electrician. Our electrician brings us deals. Um, the tree trimming guys, they bring us deals. You want to look in handyman. We have two handyman that will bring us deals. So you have to think, what type of vendors out there see people like on a regular basis. You think, on a service, who does service calls where they're out there. So we use a lot of vendors. My two top HVAC guys this year have made $2,000 a piece bringing us deals.
And that didn't really cost them any work. They probably get work from you for those deals also.
Mm-hmm.
So, awesome. Okay. Well, we have a couple of other questions here. How do you keep track of all the leads that you're generating? So once you start generating leads, how are you keeping up with those? Doug and Renee, you want to take that one?
Sure. Well, we've been on Dennis's time management system for quite a while, and we have one whole sheet on our time management system for future prospects, and we'll put those on there. They pretty much make the rounds. I mean, we work up our 6 sheets on them and we file them. We're doing that digitally now. We don't use the filing cabinet for the ones. We do print them out when we get ready to go see them, but we go ahead and work up as much of the 6 sheets as we can when we're doing the research. And those they may stay on there if we don't get anything out of it. They may stay on there for a while, but that's how we do it. We just keep it on our time management system.
Okay, great. How about you, Tony? Any suggestions on that? What would you do?
I do. But before we do that, Doug, would you explain what the 6 sheets are that you use?
Oh.
Yeah, so we print out the we have an MLS sheet. You can use. I've used Zillow before. It's just easier. We have our own MLS sheet that we can work up if we can't find anything on. Some houses, they don't have anything online, and then we print out the information from the county appraisal district. We have a map and analysis of the house if we get that far. Sometimes we wind up with just 3 or 4 sheets on a house. So if you don't do the analysis and the offer sheet and all that stuff yet, you may not have that. But
And I always put them in an envelope.
Oh yeah, the comparisons. Yeah.
So we've got the data sheet from the county with all the pertinent information. We got the comps.
Right.
We got the map. I'm gonna tell you what, maps are so important. It is just terrible if you don't have your map and you don't know the location and your phone is either dying, dead, or you don't have signal. I'm extremely, extremely dependent on my phone. And if I get out into a remote area and I don't have signal, I can't get to where I need to go. So I like to make sure that I have my directions printed out so that I know where I'm going. And take it and print it out. It's just better that way. Okay. How about Eric? Do you have anything to add to that? How are you keeping up with your leads?
I'm doing a little mixture of. I'm trying to go digital, but I still have my paper things. I'm focusing my efforts on streamlining all of that so that it's in one place.
I can help you with that.
Thank you. It's a combo of analog and digital, both. I'm the same way with the map. I grew up with the, I can't remember. Yeah. What was the?
MapScope.
Thank you. Yes. Please turn to page 47D. So I'm trying to combine everything to a digital, but a trustworthy digital source. And I look forward to getting with you about that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to help talk to you about that. Tony, you said you had something to add?
Yeah. So what I wanted to mention is that, and you would reference this acronym, a CRM, because that's what we use. We use a CRM to track our leads. And so if we're going to do a marketing campaign with direct mail, we're not using the CRM to put all of those potentials in the CRM. That's just crazy. We're only going to put the actual responses into our CRM. And the reason we do that, and then and by the way, a CRM is a customer relationship management system. And there is a plethora of them out there. We happen to use REI Black Book, and it's built specifically for real estate investors. And it's been just a fantastic system for us. We could put our lead in there, our notes, we can put anything we want in there related to that property visit, or the property, including the property visit, the contact information for the seller. What happens then is if we don't get that under contract, we then put that individual on a drip campaign where we're going to do follow-ups. And those follow-ups can be text messages, they can be emails, but it's part of a workflow that's already been set up as templates. And the beauty about it is we don't have to do the work. It's already been done. We just select the workflow that's appropriate for that particular contact. And there's another saying in this business that the treasure is in the follow-up. And that is so true. And that's why we put folks on drip campaigns if they say no to us up front, because that no is just no for today. Who knows what it can turn into later on.
I think 3 years is my longest gap from contact to contract. And that wouldn't have happened without follow-up. I know someone in here didn't follow up, didn't buy a property, and they sold it to somebody else, and they said they would never do that again. I won't mention any names. Okay, great. We've got 2 questions here. Wait, I'm sorry. Yes, 2 questions here. Investing Hustler asks, if I was purchasing a pre-foreclosure from the owner, could I use a quitclaim deed to transfer the title without the bank?
Dennis?
No.
No.
Dennis,
how did you find that out?
Well, don't ask me, but a quitclaim deed means that if I had any interest in this, I'm selling you that. So I could sell you the Brooklyn Bridge if you're dumb enough to buy that. So that's a no. And I'm not an attorney, but I've paid enough attorney fees in my life to know that the kind of deeds that you want to use are warranty deeds, special warranty deeds, and other kind of deeds, but you should always have a real estate attorney. That's of the top 3 people on your team. Your real estate attorney is one of those. And you should always, anytime it has to do with a contract, you should always check with your attorney. Now, you may not have to check with them but once. I mean, how many times do you need to be told that you don't use quitclaim deeds? Once. That's enough. But anything new that comes up that has to do with contracts, you should have a close working relationship with your real estate attorney. And feel free to pick the phone up, and he should either answer the call or call you back. And if that's not the relationship you have, you need to get another attorney, because you're really going to need them if you do much in this business.
Absolutely. Agreed. It kind of sounds like Investing Hustler, I'm not sure, but it kind of sounds like you might be trying to do like a subject to. I just want to throw that out there. We have Roger Pascal, world expert on subject to. If he was trying to purchase a pre-foreclosure from the owner, what kind of deed should he get? How about that, Roger?
Well, you're gonna treat this as a normal normal real estate sale if you're going to do a subject to, but the key is how much money will you have to bring to the table? If they're already on the foreclosure list, chances are they're way behind in today's market. But that's just something to be aware of. Is you're going to get a general warranty deed. If you're buying it from the bank as a foreclosure already foreclosed, they're going to give you a special warranty deed. But that's your title company. Your title company does that. You don't do any of that. Dennis was just saying that you've got your attorney as part of your team. Every title company is run by an attorney. That's a relationship you're going to do. So you do want to stay away from unless you have cash and there's a lot of equity in that house, and you can catch them up on their mortgage. You can do that. If they're in a loan modification or something like that, you need to call me. You need to call one of our team leaders here, because you want to be careful on that if it's been a loan modified. So,
Absolutely.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis.
Ask that question one more time. I want to hear the question.
The question is, if I'm a new I'm sorry, that's the next question. If I was purchasing a pre-foreclosure from the owner, could I use a quitclaim deed to transfer the title without the bank? But I rephrased it and asked Roger, what kind of deed would I need?
Okay. Well, then the question's been answered.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
The next question, we have a couple left, two left, and we're almost out of time, so I want to hurry up and get to these. LaShawn asks, I'm a new investor, and this is my first time hearing of Impact. Welcome. So do you meet in person, and if so, how often? So I will kind of go over that real quick. The Real Impact groups meet at least once a month. Sometimes they have elite meetings more often than that. And we have 11 different locations right now, and we are expanding. And we have, I think, 4 coming on very soon, early this year. Grand Prairie is our next one that we're opening with Eric there in the middle. Well, he's in the middle for me. So anyway, reach out to us. Reach out to anybody. Contact us in some way, and we'll tell you where the closest one to you is. And if there's not one there, we'll do our best to get one there.
What's a phone number they can call?
Oh, they can call me.
Okay.
All of our contact information it's on it's in the description, right? There we are, 469-364-9558. Or you can always shoot me an email. Contact us on MeetUp. Contact us on Facebook. We are here for you, and we are here to answer all your questions. All right. Let's see. Did you have something else, Roger? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. We have an incredible website.
We do.
So correct me if I'm wrong on this. I have it saved in my deal, but realimpacttraining.com. You can look at that. But if you're on YouTube, and you're going to see all the different links that we have below.
In the description.
And we do meet in 11 locations is where we meet. Our latest Oklahoma City, I don't know if that was on the scrolling or not, but so we have lots of live meetings. Each meeting is a different topic. For the most part, each location meets once a month. So you can find that on Real Impact Training. You can also find that on the links below. If you're on YouTube, you can look up Impact on MeetUp, or you can look up Impact on Facebook. And Dennis, what do you got?
1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Last question. I'm a new investor. This is my first. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it safe to buy and sell foreclosures?
Yes.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Just got to do it the right way.
Right.
And if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to any of us. Investing Hustler says, thank you so much for your help as I am learning the process. Can't wait for the next meeting on here. Take care. Investing Hustler, make sure you find out where the nearest Real Impact group is to you. We have Longview, Tyler, Wichita Falls, Grapevine, Decatur Alliance, Arlington, Waco, H.E.B, Burleson. Who did I miss? Oh, Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, and I missed one.
Grand Prairie, did you say that?
Oh, Grand Prairie's opening
Lindale?
this month. Oh, in Lindale,
Yeah.
Lindale, Tyler. So Lindale makes in
There you
Tyler. So yeah, we are all over the place and we are expanding. So if you are looking to become a real estate mentor coach, please reach out to me and I will meet with you and we'll see if we're a good fit for you. Are we done?
We're done. We're 1 hour into it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on here tonight. Every Sunday night, we are on at 7 o'clock Central Time. You can go into the YouTube channel that we're on, and you can look at past chats that we've had, podcasts that we've had. So thank you all for being on here. Does anybody else have anything to close out? We good? All right. Thank you so much for being on here. It's been an incredible night. A lot of great information out there. So thank you, everybody, for their time. Y'all have a great week. If you're working for the government, you're not working tomorrow, so congratulations on that. But other than that, the rest of us, we're working. We're finding deals. Go out and find a deal. We sell you a system. We train you how to build your system. So there we go. All right, good deal. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a good night.
And we're done.
Good night.